Hey, what's going on, everybody? Just wanted to do a little bike reveal today. Show you guys my first 450 dirt bike and how I'm about to get into hard enduro racing and, well, my whole race career, really. Here it goes, man. Beauty. Now, this is a 2008, last year of the carburetors. Kawasaki KLX 450R. With an A-kit suspension and a Leo Vince pipe. She's practically ready to go, man. All she needs, just a little bit of love. You know what I'm talking about? She ready to go. I'm gonna put some air in the tires and pretty much go rip her. Only problem with ripping her around here is we have HOAs, and I used to get cops called here for every bike I pretty much owned. I've got cops called. So this is the bike that I don't want cops to get called a lot for. So what I have planned is I'm gonna buy a nice ass chainsaw, probably a steel 28 AV Farm Boss or Wood Boss, whatever you want to call it, or a Husqvarna Farm Rancher 355, something like that, something high, a little bit higher level, like mid level. And make a good little couple jumps, some rolls, a whole trail. It's about a half mile of woods there, so about 2 or 3 trails going up and down, and all kinds of different like logs, obstacles. I got a whole plan. Like, I can't wait to get started. I literally just quit my job so I could pursue this full time. Nah, not really, but yeah, really. I want to do this for real, man. I got so much passion for this that it's crazy. Like, most people don't go this route. Most people go dirt bikes to street bikes and maybe then to Harley Davidsons. Not me. I started on a Kawasaki Ninja 2003. It was a 636cc crotch rocket without fairings, and it had a stunt cage on it because I knew I was gonna fall. I knew it was a bike that had quite a bit of power, and I did have intentions of doing tricks and stuff on it. So, but this is my first racing dirt bike. A couple things about this bike. The service intervals are low every 1,000 kilometers, which isn't a big deal with me because the oil is so little. It doesn't really break the bank, so to speak. But valve adjustments, I heard this motor is bulletproof, okay? This is almost like a showroom quality bike right here. It's got a odometer and everything, only 1,000 miles. 1,000 miles on the odometer. But with all due respect, man, the biggest gem that sold me on this bike, and I am not lying, is when I sat on it. When I sat on this bike, it immediately reminded me of the time that I was riding my friend's YZ250 two-stroke with power bands and an A-kit suspension. So when I say A-kit suspension, let me tell you the backstory on this bike. So this bike, this gentleman owned this bike about, let me think. This gentleman owned this bike for about 17 years, you guys. This is what I think happened. We can only speculate. He bought this bike, had more money than sense, probably was a real estate agent or something, because we know he had a lot of money. That's for damn sure. These cost $10,399 off the showroom floor, and he bought it. Most people don't have 10 grand. Just 1 point. But not only did he pay the 10 grand to get the bike, he went ahead and got the $2,500 KYB SSS forks. These are race spec, you guys. There they are, the KYB. You could just look how thick these are. 49 millimeter A-kit suspension. These cost $2,500 if you can get them at a good time of the year. Otherwise, they're even more than that. And then we went ahead and took the bike to Full Travel Innovations in Lexington, North Carolina. So yeah, back to the story, guys. So he bought this bike. He bought this bike back in 2008. He was a real estate investor. And right after he bought this bike and started to enjoy it, I think he had finally got into like a wreck or something, because it does have a little damage to one side of the handlebar, and this handlebar is a little loose. So I'm pretty sure he wrecked. And you can see places like under the exhaust where it did like hit some real dirt, like some serious dirt. He just cleaned it really well. So back to the story. So he probably had a little oopsie, but bottom line is he spent $10,000 and some change on the bike. Then he spent about $3,000 on like pretty much top of the line at the time, okay, in 2008. Top of the line suspension, no quarrels about that, like bar none. This was the top of the line suspension in 2008. KYB Triple S forks with the triple clamps and the inverted telescopic 49mm forks with, I think it's 12.6 inches of travel, fully adjustable, preload, dampening, rebound, everything, the whole nine. He did it. Tuned for about a 160-pound rider. A little heavier rider. I need to get it tuned for about 155 to 160-pound rider, because with all my gear on, I weigh about 160 pounds. And the guy that sold it to me, literally, famous last words, "Don't get hurt. Don't you get hurt on this thing now." I said, "Don't worry, man. I've got experience. I respect machines like this." But, so then after he spent the 3 on forks, so now we're at 14,000 pretty much, y'all. About 14 grand. It cost about $1,300 for a shop to go ahead and set the forks up and get the base settings dialed in and everything, you know? Forks it is so complicated, I could not believe it. If you don't believe me, and that one side of that fork is about 250 little pieces, man. There's valves, there's oil, there's like levels of how fast the oil can come up and how fast it can go down and how fast the rebounding and the dampening, the preload, the sag. So much goes into a suspension in this bike, and that's why it costs about $1,300 to set it up. It can cost way more if you go to even hire more reputable people, like somebody who works on Axel Hodge's bike. You know, they're gonna charge probably $5,000, but they're gonna also test it like you wouldn't believe. They're gonna dial it in. They're gonna do static sag. They're gonna go in depth so much more than just the $1,300 service that I got at FTI. Which, by the way, I'm gonna have to do it again because these valves. Just because of how old this bike was, the owner, he got the forks revalved, expensive. Now we're at about $16,000. Add about another $400 rear shock, and now we're at about 15 and a half. Then add another $1,600 exhaust system, full headers back, Leo vents. We're pushing 17 grand, 18 grand, man. And that is for a bike without no engine work, off the showroom floor. All it's got is a pipe and suspension. But believe it or not, a pipe and suspension and no engine work is what the AMA requires for a bike to be race ready. They say for anybody to want to race a bike, which, by the way, somebody like you and me can race this bike. You can go and buy a bike like this and go sign up and register for a hard enduro event and literally go race with the pros side by side. It's ridiculous, and that's exactly what I plan on doing with this. But one other little upgrade I forgot to mention is down here. Something that I've seen a lot of guys that. No, actually, I haven't seen any hard enduro guys without this, but it's called a skid plate. What this does is you don't ever see, well, you do, but you don't really see motocross guys with these because, well, they're doing jumps and shit. They don't really need it. But for us hard enduro guys, this is your insurance. damn near. This is a worst connection skid plate, by the way, top of the line in '08. Once again, this guy had more money than sense. It's just the part of the story that kind of gets the sucking. I haven't really got to it, which is the recession in '08. But so this skid plate, let's say you're going over a little creek and you don't know how deep the creek is in the middle, and there's a rock that's protruding a little higher, and your 12.6 inches of travel isn't enough, and it goes boop. If you didn't have this here, and that rock hits one of these these critical pieces of your engine, guess what? Your oil's about to be going downstream, and you're gonna be stuck. You better hope you got AAA with the RV and bike package. So let's just say that this is a very nice upgrade. I'd say this is another couple hundred, minimum $350, just because of how nice this work connection one is. But normally you can get them for about $200. So now we're sitting at about $17,000. And by the way, that rear shock and getting it, in there and everything, that's why I rounded it up to 17, because it's gonna take money to get all that shit, because you got to remove the subframe, you got to remove all these plastics, you got to remove the suspension, you got to have special tools to do it. Like I said, I do plan on learning a lot about this bike and building it as we go, not the engine. Like I said, this bike's ready to go. I don't really need to do anything except just hop on it and go. But another nice thing, it's got really great compression, Kickstarter, always nice. Got the brand new lithium battery. It's another $400 upgrade. Now we're sitting at $17,400. And I think I already included the skid plate. That was $400. Lithium battery. What else? He had something. Anyways, man, it's ridiculous that these parts can damn near almost touch 20 grand like that. And we haven't even dug into the damn engine yet. This is just the bike. Oh yeah, last but not least. So because this bike has been sitting since 2008 and it's pretty much a showroom bike, it's been ridden a few times, a handful of times. There was bad gas in it, and it would not start. So the guy got a pretty good trade on this and a WR250, which I'm thinking about picking up for my dad. The WR250 was the bike that I actually went to go look at. I didn't even know the man had this bike when I went to go look at the WR250, because both of these bikes that this man had for sale were pretty much older bikes, which is what I'm into. I don't like a lot of rider aids. In fact, I don't like rider aids at all. I like to be man and machine, and I like to control my machine. I like the raw. Anyway, so he had a WR250F with a tachometer on it, brand new put on, and it only showed 597 miles off the showroom floor, you guys. Meaning that was a showroom bike too. And my dad's about to come from India here, hopefully in the next week or two, or maybe even 3. He goes every year for festivals and stuff, but I'm actually gonna start riding with him, and hopefully sky is the limit. I'm gonna make him a promise that if this isn't the most fun you've ever had in your life, then you could sell your bike, and I'll never ever ask you to do this again with me. But I think it really will be the most fun he's ever had in his life, because my dad's an avid mountain climber, and he's getting to an age where I wouldn't say his legs are giving up on him, but it is a little bit tougher climbing all these mountains. So now I want to give him the opportunity to experience 100 mountains in a day, being on the saddle of a beast, a weapon like this. Well, not like this. This is not a beginner bike whatsoever. Dude, I did not mean to say that. I really wanted to get my dad an XT250 because he's only 5'6", I'm 6 foot, maybe 6'1" with these Timbs on. But yeah, y'all, this is her. About $17,500 to get this bike the way it is, if you would have bought it brand new in 08. So let's get to the part of the story that's kind of sad. So yeah, whatever happened. The man put these bikes under a nice little motorcycle cover, both of them, the WR and this bike. And they sat under a cover for 17 or 18 years. Then the gentleman that ended up buying them, he sells really high-end trucks like Dodge Rams and Chevy Silverados, I think the cheapest listing this man had was $15,999. And then, for some reason, he just randomly got 2 dirt bikes and he was trying to sell them. So it struck me as odd. But when I went to go check out the WR250, I looked over and I saw this beast. I saw this little Kawasaki just sitting there. And I was like, whoa. And on the phone, he had told me that he had a 450, and I haven't done my research on Kawasaki 450 dirt bikes yet, but my first bike was a Kawasaki, and I know they have a reputation for solid motors, man. They're solid. They're a solid brand. And another big selling point, boy, look at that exhaust. And when he started it up for me, it had so nice compression, you guys. Rims damn near brand new. And a big selling point, another one, was the carburetor. So part of me did want a fuel-injected bike this time because I got tired of getting into the carburetor on my last bike. But then I started to really think about it, and I decided that if you did break down in the woods, like your battery died or like you were in an effed up situation, like something happened to your bike, it's much better to have a carburetor than fuel injection. On the side of the road, I could actually work on a carburetor. No way in hell I could work on a throttle position sensor or a fuel injectors or stuff like that. Maybe I can, but I just don't have experience with it. These also look aftermarket, these engine mounts, but I'm not gonna go ahead and say that. Amazing bike. It's got the aluminum bilateral beam for suspension. Just stoked, you guys. I'm stoked to be in the 450 class. Now, I've never raced dirt bikes. They all say, just like sport bikes, you start on the 125 2-stroke or 4-stroke. I mean, they don't even do 2-strokes no more, sorry. You ride the 125 4-stroke, and then you work your way up to the 250 class, get that dialed in, and then and only then, you work your way up to the 450 class. Well, guess what? I'm not really trying to do that. My number one reason for this bike was not racing at all. My number one reason, you're gonna laugh at this, was fun factor. I do actually want to have fun with this. I have a passion for this. I want to have fun with it. I want to be happy. Number 2 was therapy. I do get depressed without a bike. I did need something soon. And last but not least, 3, racing. I wanted to finally join a hard enduro race and get her going, you know what I mean? All right, I'll give you a little sneak peek on what we got going woods-wise back here real quick. You guys are going to be so excited. Now, I got a lot of neighbors who don't like loud sounds. Kind of sucks. That's kind of what separates the guys like me who don't have tons of money and the guys who have tons of money. Look at my dogs. Hey, Roger Booker. All right. So, this is the woods we have behind my house. As you can see, it is not ready to ride. I'm probably going to get a chainsaw and start cutting all these trees. Just make a trail this way, make a trail this way, and make a trail this way. And then connect all 3 of those trails going that way. And then have ways out onto the road and past further down that way. And then same with this, further down that way. And sky is the limit. Once I get this dialed in, who knows what I could do. I know one thing. I got a couple of hills right here. This one's a little hill. I know I could probably get some air if I jump it right. But there's one hill that's for real. It's serious. I'll probably get about 20 feet of air on that one. I'm thinking about making a motocross jump out of this one right there. You see it? That hill. If I can make it just a little deeper, like a 6-foot rut, dial it in and have a good landing. Can you guys imagine that? Turning that right there into a serious jump. Yeah, I can see that happening. It's a good 2.5 to 3 feet tall already. I'd make that about twice as tall, about this tall, 6 foot. And then I'd have to make the same thing on the other side, or at least something, so I don't just land on hard-ass ground. Yeah, I'm pretty crazy. I'd also have to adjust my suspension again for that, because different kinds of suspension, different kinds of conditions and how I ride and different things. You can see I've got the shovel up and out here doing shit, but it's just not as easy, man. You really need a chainsaw. There's only so much you can do without a chainsaw. If I had a chainsaw, I'd cut all this shit down and start there. But yeah, let's get up out of here. Last time we had a hurricane come through, that damn thing knocked down about 18 trees around here, man. In fact, the worst one was this one right here. This one fell. And check this one out. This one right here hit my house, hit my AC unit, knocked my fence down, did a whole bunch of damage and fucked things up, man. So y'all make sure y'all have insurance, man. Screw all this bullshit, man. But all in all, man, it was a successful video. I hope you enjoyed and stayed till the end with me. If you want to help support me, and if not support me, just watch my progress, spectate, whatever, man. I have an Instagram. It's called Bikelifealaap. It's BIKELIFEALAAP. I make content all day, every day. 24/7, 365 a year. I can't stop, won't stop, never stop. So y'all know what's up, man. Y'all gonna see what's up when I finally get to ride this bad boy. Y'all gonna see what's up. I ain't even got to ride it yet, but y'all gonna see. I already know. I heard it run. Need to get air in the tires. I'm gone. I love you guys, man. Y'all stay safe out there. Ride safe, stay safe, make good decisions, and stay sucker free.